Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the what and the how series of UiPath. In case you are looking to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest updates. In the what and the how series of UiPath, I am trying to answer to the queries which I receive over my email, over my website, or over the comments in the YouTube or over Instagram. So today I have received a question from a subscriber. The question is pretty simple. This is from the orchestrator and the triggers part. What happens if I have a robot which is already running from the orchestrator and at the same time there is a schedule which is approaching? Right? So how does orchestrator handles that, and what are the different kinds of states that are available when the job is running from the orchestrator? So this is what we are going to explore today with the help of a step-by-step demonstration. So you can actually follow along with me so that you understand all the concepts clearly. Okay. So for that, let me first go to my UiPath Studio. Okay, so I am in my UiPath Studio. I am using 2022.10 version. Okay, I'll go here and I'll create a new process. I'll call this process as, let's say, sample first process. Okay, and I hit create. The idea here would be that we are going to do some of the automation activities in this process. Let's say I will try to write something on the console. We'll try to write, let's say, today's date, and then we'll pop up a message box. So as soon as a message box is pop out, till the time I hit OK, it won't actually release the robot, right? So that is what we are going to create an automation. I'll wait for the dependencies to get loaded. Okay, so my process is created. I'll simply go to this guy which says open main workflow, because when I run it from the automation, the first XAML which will execute is the main. Okay, I'll go to the activities and I'll take one activity which is called log message. I'll drag and drop the log message here. Next, it is asking me, tell me what level of information you want. So I say that I want an information log, and I can just print some message here which says the text must be quoted, and in here I simply specify hello from sample project. Okay, so what would happen? This will be get printed from the orchestrator when we run it. Okay, next what I'm going to do here is I am going to put a message box intentionally in the workflow. I'll drag and drop the message box here, something like this, and I just say that click OK to continue, right? Any message you can give it here, right? So that is my simple automation which I have written, only two activities, a hello and a message box. Okay, and let's say after I am done, I will just put a log message once again. Okay, indicating that we have stopped it. So I'll go to the information and I'll say here completed. Okay, and let's try to print the time also. Okay, so that we will able to know that how much time it takes. So I just append it with now.toString. Now what is now.toString? Now is a function of date which actually will print the current system date and time. Okay, so how do you do that? You just write now now and you put a dot and then you write toString. Why toString? Because I'm going to append it with a string, right? I'll save this automation. Let's quickly test it. My UiPath assistant is connected. I'll go here and I simply say run the file. Now as you can see, my robot is in the execution state, right? And till the time I click on this button, click OK to continue, my robot is being utilized, right? We can always validate that from the UiPath assistant as well. You can see that the job is processing, right? It has not stopped, it has not completed, right? It's in the running state, sample first process. So as soon as I click OK, the job will complete, right? Which means that if I don't press OK, my robot would be always in a occupied stage, right? And that is what I wanted to. So I'll go here, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'll publish this automation to Orchestrator, right? Now before publishing, something you need to remember here, that you need to validate which orchestrator you are connected to. So I am connected to my cloud.uipath.com/mukeshkala, and I am connected to this folder which is called admin folder. So I have opened the same in my browser as well, and this is my admin folder, right? So I'll go here and I click on this button which says publish, and the package name looks good, new version. I'll simply hit next. I'll select, yeah, it's not too custom, so here it should be published to, it should be your orchestrator tenant process feed. Okay, I'll hit next and I say publish. UiPath is publishing the package. It is packaged successfully, and the process is sample first process. Okay, let's go to the orchestrator. I'll go to the admin folder. In the processes, I have a couple of old processes which are available. So I'll go here and I click on this button which says add process. So this is how you actually create a process out of the NuGet package. Okay, so what is the package? The package is sample. This one, sample first process, which we just created. It has the entry point of main.xaml. The package version is 1. Everything looks good. I hit next. I'll leave this to the default settings and I'll simply hit create. Once the process is created, it would be available in the processes tab. So I can simply go here and I search for sample, and I can see that sample first process is available here. To execute the process, I can simply go here and click on this button which says start a job, right? So let me quickly start a job. And now it is asking me the process name, unattended license, and I want to run it on a specific robot, which is this laptop. Okay, so this is my laptop which I am currently connected to, and I want to execute it on this computer, and I click on start. Now there is a thing which you guys need to know here. When you execute the process from the orchestrator, it is executing on this laptop. As you can see, my assistant is getting fired up. In the assistant, I can see that the status is processing in the running stage, right? Till the time I click OK, this state will not change because the robot is still occupied and somebody has to take an action. Okay, as soon as I click OK, you would notice that the status has become successful. It means that the robot has completed its processing without any exception. Now if I go here and I click on view the logs, you would notice the same logs which we have written, right? That you started at this time. This is the current date and time where I am recording this, 1st of December 8:43. Till 1 minute I kept this message box open so that it took this much time, right? Now this is one of the automation which I already have in the automation which is called sample first process. Okay, I have created one more same automation which is called current time. So I'll simply go into the processes, okay, and I'll search for the current time. This is one more automation which I have written. I'll simply go and click on this guy, start a job, okay, and this time I am again running it on the same laptop and I click on start. So I just wanted to show you that I have got two automation. Both of them are working on the same robot, but as of now what we are doing one by one, right? So as you can see, this is running from the message box indicating the start. I hit OK. Current date and time I have received, I get OK, and this was also successful, right? So both of these processes are successfully executing when I run them one by one. But what happens if we create a trigger for them? Okay, so to create a trigger, let's go to the trigger tab. Okay, in the trigger tab I have got a couple of triggers. All of them are disabled as of now. I can quickly check here, all of them are disabled, right? So I'll go and create a new trigger. Okay, this trigger I'll call it for the, let's say this is my time trigger for second automation. Okay, So for my second automation, I am going to create a time trigger. What is the process name? The process name is current time, right? So that is what we have seen. It is asking me, when do you want to run the trigger, right? So I want to run it in the India time zone, and let's schedule it for every 5 minutes. Okay. And in the user here, which user you want to run? I want to run it on this user. Okay. Specifically on this laptop. And I simply click on add. Now you would notice that the time trigger is available and it would be executing in 2 minutes, right? But what happens? The question was same, right? As of now, it is 8:47. In 2 minutes, what happens if the machine which is supposed to run is in occupied state? What would happen to this job? How would the trigger behave, and the next bits, right? So as you can see, it is showing me that it is going to start at 8:50. We are at 8:48 now, right? So I'll go to the job quickly, right? And I'll start this one, which is called sample first process. And I'll go from this one. Okay, or you can always come and restart it from here as well, right? Sample first process, go here and I say restart. Now this restart, I want to specifically do it on this laptop, right? And I click on start. Now we have started the robot of sample first process. I am going to keep this message box with me so that my host or my laptop is occupied, right? I can go to the triggers and you would notice that the trigger is for a different automation. It is for the automation of current time, right? It is going to execute in a minute, but my robot is busy, right? How can I address such scenarios and how would the orchestrator behave, right? So that was the question. So we'll just wait for 1 minute and let's see. Okay, so I hope you are understanding what we are trying to cover. If that is the case, please let me know in the comments that yes, you are understanding by just simply commenting, let's say triggers. Okay, so that I would understand that yes, you guys are with me. Okay, so we'll just wait for this time to hit 8:50. Okay, so my robot is busy running. Let me go to the triggers, and it is saying that yes, I am going to execute in few seconds. Okay, but my robot is occupied, right? Let's see what happens. I'll hit a quick refresh, and as you can see, we are at 8:50. I'll go to the triggers and you would notice the trigger says that I am going to execute in next 5 minutes. That is for the next run. But if you go to the jobs, you would notice UiPath Orchestrator has created an entity for the current time and the state of the job is pending. Pending simply means that I was going to execute a process but I could not find the robot available. That is why I am in the pending state. So till the time your existing automation finish, the next automation will line up and it would be available in the pending state. Okay. If I simply go here and I click OK, what would happen? That will release the robot, that will release the host, and that will have this, that will give space for this robot to execute, right? Let's quickly try that. I'll go here and I click OK. Now this was successful and the status for this changed to running, right? And again, if I don't click OK, this would be again keeping the robot occupied, and I simply click OK. This is showing the current date and time 8:51 and I hit OK, and that becomes successful as well. Okay. So what happens if a robot is already running on the orchestrator and you queue a same automation at the same time from the trigger or from manual execution as well, the second job will go into the pending state. Okay, so this demonstration have taught us two state of the job. One is successful and one is the pending. Okay, now let me quickly go back to the documentation. Whenever you are running from the orchestrator, you might get all of these stages. I'll quickly cover all of them one by one. The first one is pending, which you have already seen that a job is in state if it is queued on the same robot or it is trying to establish a connection with the robot, right? It is not only in the scenario when the robot is queued. Let's say your UiPath orchestrator is facing some difficulty to connect to this assistant, right? At the same time also you would see this guy which is called the pending. I hope you understand. Running, we have already seen when the job is getting executed, the connection has been established successfully. Whatever instruction you have given to the robot, it is able to do, though the state is running. The next one is successful, which simply means that whatever instruction you have given to the robot has finished successfully, and that is nothing but like this. Okay, so that was successful. Now, one more thing I want to tell you guys is that whenever a job is running from the automation, or I would say orchestrator, you have two options. Okay, let me quickly go and restart this guy for you, and I'll say start. You always have two options. You can either stop it or you can kill it. The difference between stop and kill is that stop is going to look for an activity called should stop in the automation, that is a graceful close. However, kill is directly going to terminate the automation. So if a job is running and I click on stop, it is going to look for the stop symbol, right? And I hit yes. It is saying stopping, right? Whatever automation you have given, it is telling me that yes, I am looking for the stop symbol, but in our automation we do not have the stop symbol, so it would never actually stop, right? If had it been I have applied some should stop activity and all those logic, it would have stopped the automation, but since we do not have, it won't work if you do not have the should stop activity. But if I click OK, then it will stop, right? And this one is again coming from the trigger, right? So let me quickly stop the trigger for a while. I think we had done with this trigger, so I'll disable this trigger, right? Like this. Okay, so that is how you disable, enable, disable, right? So should stop activity did not work for us, but the other option which is available is called a kill. So let me go and restart this again. Okay, so one was a stop, the other is kill. So stop will already work. So stop will only work if you have the should stop activity. But if I simply go and do a kill here and I say yes, it is straight away going to terminating, and then it will terminate and the status change to stopped, right? Why I showed you the difference between stop and kill? That was because if you are using a should stop activity, your automation will stop gracefully, and in that case also the status of the job would be successful. Okay, now I'll come to the faulted in a moment, but this I think now you have understood. When I click on the stop button from the orchestrator, it is looking for an activity or something which is called should stop, right? So when you click on stop, it is looking for something called a should stop activity within the automation, but if you have not implemented, it does not make any sense, right? And this is to stop the job gracefully or in a safe manner. So this status stopping you will see when somebody would have clicked stop from the orchestrator. Same like the stop, we have just seen that when I go and I click kill, in term of stop, the status was stopping. When you kill it, the status would be terminating, right? It is an intermediate state where the command is being sent. The robot is taking some time to kill, so you would see terminating. And once it is terminated, the status is stopped, right? Which is nothing but this guy, stopped. A job is in a state if it is by using a kill button or by cancelling it from the system tray, which is this guy. Okay, before it has finished the execution. So it was doing something, we simply went and we say that I am going to kill this, so it was stopped. So I hope you understand stopped, terminating and stopping, right? So these are the three things which works whenever you are working with the stop and the kill. There are two more things which are available in the job, that are suspended and resumed. Okay, so suspended and resumed are coming from the concept of action center or humans in the loop. Just to give an example, let's say I have written an automation where I want to have a OTP or a code from the user, right? So what I will do is I'll create an automation. I'll send a notification to the user, maybe from an email, from an action center, from an app, and I'll ask the user to provide me the code or provide me the OTP, right? But let's say the user is not available on the desk, right? My automation cannot wait for the user to give me the input. So UiPath, we have a framework which is called the humans in the loop, or also known as action center, where the robot will go into the suspended state and it would be free to trigger the other processes. And as soon as the user provide the code, the user provide the input or the OTP, it will take the OTP and then it will resume. So this one, suspended and resume, you will see when you are working on a concept of humans in the loop or the action center, right? The last one is the faulted. This you will see when you have a job which you have started, it did not completed successfully, but it generated an unhandled exception. Now what is an unhandled exception? There are two categories of exception: system exception, business exception, and as a developer it is your responsibility to handle all the exception. Let's say there are some exception which you forgot to handle and your automation is not able to handle those situations. On such scenarios, the exception would be thrown from the program and the job status would be set to faulted, right? It should not happen because exception handling is a very critical aspect of the robot development. In case you are new to exception handling, I have these two dedicated videos explaining exception handling both in English as well as Hindi language, right? So that will give you the complete understanding of exception handling. Please do watch this video. I'll post the links in the description. So with this, I hope you understand what all states we can have when I am running a job from the orchestrator: pending, running, successful, faulted, stopping, terminating, suspended, resume, and stopped. Okay, and all of these are available directly in the orchestrator admin folder. Whichever folder you're working, go to the jobs. Okay, you would see all the jobs here, and this has got all the details and additional information. If you want to know more about this, you can simply click on this button which says I button, right? And it will have these details like this, right? Job was stopped, forced execution because this was forced, right? All these details are available in this I button as well. Okay, so that is all which I wanted to cover in this video of the job state. I hope the concept is clear. If you have any more questions, any more doubts, you can always email me or you can drop me a comment below. Having said that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.